Hey, what's up you guys? Today we're going to talk about Christmas and how to budget for Christmas. I know when you say budget for Christmas, it doesn't sound too fun, but we're in this channel, we focus about financial independence and reaching your financial freedom. So I want to give you my thinking around how we should approach the holidays, which is my favorite time of the year. Stay tuned until the end of the video when I'm going to talk about how to mentally prepare and maybe how you should look a bit more philosophically about Christmas so that put your mind at ease at some of the decisions that you need to make during the holidays. By the way, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We talk all about, investing, financial independence, how to reach your financial goals, because I believe that the best thing that money can buy is financial freedom. If you want to be financially responsible, probably the thing to do here is to really manage our budget and manage our spending during Christmas. The number one thing to do here is go with a plan. Make a plan, make a budget, how much you want to spend for Christmas. And having a plan is really essential because, it's not all about how much you're going to spend on gifts. Christmas you can associate it with all other kinds of spendings. You usually get invited to parties and gatherings. Maybe you need to bring some food. Even if you're buying gifts, you still need to buy the cards, you still need to buy the bags and everything that comes into it. So actually, when you make a budget for how much you want to spend on gifts, you should also include in that budget what is the other amount that you're going to be spending during the holidays. So things like taking a trip to your relatives, any transportation expenses, all those sorts of things, they do add up, believe me. So what you want to have in your budget is you want to include all of those considerations and then come up with a number that you can afford. Speaking of what you can afford, that will be money that you can pay cash in December, not using your credit card. So if you watched my previous video, my advice was to lay off the credit card, especially if you have issues with debt. And in December, it's absolutely crucial that you don't reach for the credit card because there's things that you want to buy, but you can't afford them. So be honest with yourself and only budget for Christmas what you can spend in cash. That's my really the number one tip in this video. Secondly, what you want to do is you want to make a list of all the people that you want to exchange gifts with. So that would be friends, family, relatives, etc. And once you make that list, make sure that you prioritize the list. Obviously, your significant other, your family, your children, if you have any, those will be your number one priority. Everybody else, unfortunately, they may have to be deprioritized. So if your budget is, let's say, only $100 or $500, it's a very little budget, let's say, then make sure you're covering, all the very important people that are closest to you. Not that you want to ignore everybody else, but this year, this December in 2019, this is what you can afford. So unfortunately, you may have to limit yourself. If you don't have enough from your budget to buy gifts for everybody that you really want to, but they're not immediate family, let's say, then you can think of it this way. Perhaps this year you may not be able to get them what you want to get them, but that's okay because maybe next year you're going to have a bigger budget, so next year you may want to buy them something and something nice. So it doesn't have to be a permanent state. All I'm suggesting here is that if this is your limited budget for this year, for example, don't feel bad. I mean, it's not the best, but okay, maybe this year I can't do it, but I'll do it next year. The next thing I want to mention is the fact that another way to fit in within your budget, perhaps you have enough budget to buy gifts, but that budget would be really stretched if you want to go to a number of gatherings. So the way to actually fit into that budget is maybe that this year you buy all the gifts that you want, but you limit yourself in terms of how many gatherings you go. So that could be parties, and don't think about Christmas only, because right after Christmas we've got New Year's. So for New Year's also people like to go places, to travel, to have big parties. So this all comes within the same month. So if you budget and you're okay for Christmas, but you don't have anything, set aside for New Year's, then again, you're going to be using your credit cards and you're going to be overspending in January and December. And for those of you watching that are, let's say they have families, they've got kids, they may say, hey, but how am I going to limit myself if I've got kids and they want all sorts of things? Well, I'm not the best person to answer that. I don't have kids personally. But what I can tell you is you can approach it from a different kind of mindset. It is a well-known fact that Kids in general nowadays, they don't get enough attention from their parents. So maybe what you can do this Christmas, as a matter of fact, instead of buying those big expensive gifts for your children, not because you want to be a bad parent, but rather because you want to stick to your budget and you want to break it up a little bit this year. So what you can do is actually spend quality time with your children. You know, a lot of research shows that nowadays, due to mobile devices, you know, tablets, phones, etc., kids are oftentimes playing games on those devices, and parents themselves as well. They're spending a lot of time on their phones. So even though as a family you may be in the family room, sitting together in the living room, everybody's on their device, and then what ends up happening is you're in the same room, but you're not spending time together. So you're not giving each other the attention, and attention is what kids need, basically mostly from their parents. So think about it this way. Maybe it's not the gift that you buy, but it's the time, the quality time that you spend with your children. So the last thing I want to suggest to you, that it is okay to spend a little bit less on Christmas. I mean, it's a non-conventional thing. People really like to go all out on the Christmas holidays. But, you know, it's okay. If you're laser focused in your financial freedom, then I believe people around you will understand. And I think they'll respect you for that. I think managing your finances should not come at the expense of basically being reckless with money. And let's not forget the fact that you're laser focused this year and you can afford a little bit less, that may give you the benefit that next year you're going to be financially significantly better and you may afford much bigger gifts to everybody that you love. And this is the part of the video where I like to get a little bit philosophical. So many people, they feel like if they spend a little bit less on Christmas, and if they don't go all out and buy the biggest, shiniest thing to their friends and people around them, that's going to make them look like a bad person, or that, you know, they'll not be buying that thing that was going to make people happy. But the reality is, things don't make people happy. You know, money does not buy happiness. So if you're thinking that, okay, if I buy this particular gift, or if I try to make somebody close to me, to repair a relationship even, I'm gonna get this amazing gift and I'm gonna make them happy and my relationship is gonna be significantly better, you know, don't fool yourself. I mean, there's multiple studies done that, you know, money does not buy happiness. You can't buy that relationship, or you can't fix things with money necessarily. Yes, money can buy many things, but when it comes to happiness, this is not the way to achieve that. So focus on what really makes you happy, you, your family, or the people around you, your significant other. So focus on them, focus on kind of spending maybe quality time, and that's going to be much more appreciated, I guarantee you. It's going to make your Christmas season a much better time than simply going out for the best gift. And I know buying things, it's fun, it's cool, you know, it's nice to get some new things in my life. I personally like to buy gadgets, you know, it's fun. But what I found out is that the fun stops very quickly, and I realized that does not make me happy. It's a temporary state where I enjoy when I buy something new and I, you know, play with it or whatever. It's like a new gadget, but then ultimately that does not improve my life. You know, long term, it's not going to do anything but simply give you a temporary satisfaction. So if you want to be laser focused on your financial independence, if you want to work on your kind of relationship goals, the best thing to do is not to worry that you're not going to buy a big enough gift or a shiny gift to your people around you, but rather worry about how you're spending the time with them and what actually makes them happy. I think this is going to make the most impact for Christmas. If you haven't realized, if you're a new person, you know, watching this video, you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. In this channel, we talk all about financial independence, financial freedom, you know, how to make money work for you, how to increase your wealth. It doesn't matter if you're in the beginning of that journey or you're very well off. We discuss things that's going to help you ultimately become wealthier and look at your financial freedom as the best thing that money can buy for you. So this is from me. Have great holidays, and I'll talk to you in the next video.